great curiosity or the lessons that life has to offer. I was recently guided to a meditation on resentment. How resentment is actually a reflection of our expectations.
Yes.
How we expect this. It doesn't happen, and therefore then we end up with resentment. Where do you bring compassion into that? How do you work with that? Like, I expect that my kids are going to do life this way, and they're doing it a completely different way, and therefore I'm upset. Or I expect my spouse to meet me in my meditation practice, or I expect my spouse to speak the same language that I do about everything, and they don't, and so I'm frustrated.
Right.
Help me out here. Like, where do you bring some magic into that?
I mean, I got to tell you this story from yesterday.
Okay.
2 days ago, a bunch of us here, creatives, came up with a meme, a kind of fun thing, and we were going to send it to Trump. And we were so excited that this thing, we loved it. We thought it was fantastic. We thought it would just go out into the world. Are you losing me again?
No, there,
okay.
I got you.
Okay. We were convinced that this thing was going to go, and we were going to get a lot of publicity, and we created all kinds of fun. And I recognized we were going into a fantasy. I recognized it. And so I did a lot of spiritual work, and I let go of that, and I let go of that. And I said, it's just going to be what it's going to be. But in the meantime, it spurred me into action. I did all these things with my website, and I got all these things done that had to be done in advance of this sure thing that was going to happen, which of course didn't happen. And so I had the awareness all along that our expectations are a creative force that are carving pathways for us to travel. And so they're actually these very beautiful things, these fantasies, We don't want to get lost in them. We want to have the awareness that we create them to relieve our own suffering in the moment, and that something will happen down the line that we identify that we need. I'm going to feel safe as long as somebody's going to be in my bed every single night. As long as my kids will go up and go to school, I'm going to feel good. People show up on time to meetings, I'm okay. And then I had the experience yesterday when nothing went right. Nothing happened. And I said, I'm going to go to a coffee shop. I'm going to read a book. And in walked this woman and sat down looking for someone else who stood her up. And we sat down and had the most delightful meeting. And so what you're asking me is, how do we get ourselves to let go of the expectation and open up to the magic that I have cultivated in myself to experience? And there's really only one answer, and it's practice. We have got to.
There was a piece of like, I need to be aware.
Yes.
That I'm having an expectation. It seems pretty key, because you were aware that you were like expecting a certain something that didn't happen. But I've noticed that in you over the years is your ability to turn on a dime. Something new just comes right in, and you just respond, not react, but I see you responding fully. And your ability to let go of an expectation is exquisite.
Yeah.
Right. And I see you teaching that.
I'm surprised at the answer that's coming up, what I want to share right now. I'm going to share it anyway.
Okay. All right.
It's been a long time practice of mine. I was married for 18 years. I was completely dedicated to Kate in that time. And then when my heart opened in the way that it did, and I had a series of beautiful, beautiful, extraordinary love affairs that didn't last very long. And in those times, I was very, very dedicated to that person in the same way I've always been. And when they ended, and it broke me open even more, I was very conscious about my sexual energy, and I feel like this is the way through, Martha. This is the way through. All the things that happen in life are for people lusting after things. They want to go after things. I want that. I want her. Boy, it'd be nice to get a little. It's like this thing that happens in a human being, and it's all biological and it's all conditioning. And, buy this so that you can be the best a man can be. It's incredible. It's unbelievable. And we have cultivated and created a culture of lust.
Mm.
And it really goes back to, where is your sexual energy? What are your practices in your sexuality? Are you bringing prayer and sacredness to the most powerful act a human being can be a part of? I mean, let's think about this for a second. We have the power to create a new life. And we throw sexuality around like it is just some toy. We have football cheerleaders. Not that that's wrong, but there's a glorification, there's a transfer of energy, and it's all in the lust. So somehow expectation is a lust. It's something that we want, and it's something that the mind has told us that if we get it, we're going to feel better. And what we're leaving in that moment is the suffering that we have made bad and wrong. When does it become sexy, Martha, for somebody to say, I am going through it, I am grieving, my life is falling apart, I am helpless right now. Can somebody witness me and see me? And we notice on our social media feeds, I don't know how many people else have these Facebook feeds, but that a lot of people in our community are beginning to be okay in their vulnerability. Mm-hmm. Because that is what happens to a person when the expectation is not met. They come face to face with their own vulnerability. And what are you going to do with it in that moment? Are you going to project it to somebody else and make them wrong for not showing up? Not doing it the way you wanted to? Or are you going to bring it right back here and go, wow, I got mad. I created a bitch storm because my expectations were met. I acted like a little girl. I acted like a little boy. How much longer are we going to put up with that in ourselves?